If you want to go into liquid soap production, like you want to make liquid soap your business, this video is for you. Watch it till the end. You may not get a very good video that will explain things the way I'm going to do in this video. So right here, this is the soap I produce. You see how transparent it is. I'm going to show you everything I did to produce this exact quality of liquid soap. So first, you want to start by dissolving all your ingredients except the nitrosol. So right here, I'm dissolving 500 grams of soda ash in 2 liters of water. You want to make sure that that water becomes as clear as possible. So you dissolve it until all the powders, all the grains have properly dissolved, and then you set that aside to keep dissolving. This will help your soap to be as transparent as possible, and also it will aid the ingredients to get incorporated in the soap nicely. So the next ingredient I'm dissolving here is my SLS powder. I'm using 280 grams of SLS powder, and then I'll add it in 2 liters of water and give it a good stir. You want to dissolve that too until the water becomes clear. So next, in another bowl, I'm going in with my caustic soda. I also dissolve my STPP, but I can't find where I captured it in the video. So you also add that, the caustic soda, I added it to 1 liter of water, and then I'm giving it a good stir to dissolve properly. All this will help your soup to come out very nice. So right here, I'm taking it very slow because somebody said I'm not a reporter, so I should take time and teach. I'm trying my possible best. One thing I want to do is I don't want the video to become too long. That's why I rush all those things. But right here, I'll just take my time and do it for those who care to watch. So in step one, you're going to get your nitrosol. That's nitrosol. You don't dissolve and set it aside because it will form lumps in your soup if you do that. So right here, you just add it directly into your 20 liters of water. I used 5 liters of water to dissolve all those ingredients. So right here, this is 20 liters of water in the bowl. I added nitrosol, and then I'm giving it a good stir. You want to stir that for at least 5 minutes before you go in with the next ingredient. Don't just jam pack ingredients and like all those chemicals, don't jam pack them together. Give it a good stir for at least 5 minutes if you want your soap to come out looking good, looking transparent and without separation. So after giving it a stir, I'm going to add the soda ash. You know, we dissolved our soda ash in 2 liters of water and we set that aside. So I'm straining this to remove any impurities in the soda ash. So after adding it, you give it another stir for 5 minutes at least. Once you give that a very good stir for at least 5 minutes, it will help everything to get incorporated nicely before you go ahead and add the next ingredient. And just so you know, soda ash is a water softener and also a cleaning agent. So you add it to the mixture and then you stir that. Okay, so this is where I dissolved my STPP. You know, I thought I didn't capture it in the video, but this was where I dissolved the STPP. I dissolved 200 grams of STPP in 1 liter of water. Then I set that aside. I didn't add it to the mixture yet. So the next ingredient I'll be adding is the sulfonic acid and Texapon. I'm using 250 grams of Texapon and 1 liter of sulfonic acid. You want to mix that together first before adding it to the mixture because your Texapon will not dissolve in water easily. So that's why we use sulfonic to dissolve it. Like you mix it together with your sulfonic acid before you add it to the mixture. It helps it to dissolve faster. So this is what I'm doing here in the video. You add your sulfonic acid and Texapon together, give it a good stir, like you mix it together until everything becomes even, and then you go ahead and add it to your soup. So once you add it to the soup, you give it another mix, like you give it another stir for at least 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes now, because this will produce a lot of bubbles. So right here, you want to try as much as possible to stir nicely. If you need energy, go and take something to give you that energy, but you stir nicely so that everything incorporates nicely and becomes even. Once everything is even, you go ahead and add the foam booster. If you don't stir properly until everything becomes even, your soup will separate. By the time you finish producing it and set it aside, you notice that some parts will go down and then some parts will be up. So you add the foam booster. Right here in this production, I added 750 ml of cocobetaine, and then I'm giving it a good stir. Once you add it, it will thicken up a little, like this will thicken up the soap a little. So I stirred for 5 minutes before adding the SLS. We dissolved 280 grams of SLS in 2 liters of water. So you add it and give it a good stir for at least 5 minutes again before you go ahead and add your caustic soda, dissolved caustic soda, of course, because we dissolved it in 100 grams of caustic soda in 1 liter of water. You add it to the mixture and give it a stir. So this is the STPP, 200 grams of STPP in 1 liter of water. I just added it now. So mind you, I dissolved all these things, like I stirred all these ingredients for at least 5 minutes before adding the next one. I'm just trying to make the video shorter. That's why I'm I'm not showing you how I dissolved it for 5 minutes. So the next ingredient we're adding here is the preservative. I use sodium benzoate, 30 grams of sodium benzoate in this production. So you dissolve it in a little amount of water, say 500 mils of water, and then you add it to your mixture and give it a very good stir. So when you add the caustic, you'll notice that the soap becomes thicker when you add caustic. So after adding the preservative, you go ahead and dissolve your color. Here I'm using 20 grams, but I didn't go ahead to add everything. I'm adding it little by little until I get my desired taste. So you dissolve it in a little amount of water, say 500 mils of water, before you add it to the mixture. Once you add it, you stir it and see whether you like the color. If you're okay with what you got, you can stop adding color. If you're not okay, you can go ahead and keep adding until you get your desired color. So if you've not seen my other productions on hair shampoo, hair conditioner, bar soap, powder detergent, liquid soaps, I've made lots of liquid soap on this app. So just check my previous post, my previous reels. You're going to see so many of them that I've made here that you can produce and sell in your local markets and in your neighborhood as a side hustle. It can also be a main hustle if you don't have anything doing yet. So after adding the color, you give it a good stir so that everything becomes very beautiful. Color is optional actually, especially if you're going to be using it for laundry. So this is where I'm testing out the soap to see whether it's going to lather and see the amount of lather it's produced. This is very, very nice. If I'm trying on this app, please leave a thank you in the comment section. Share my posts, like this post, comment, do anything you want with the video. It's all yours. And I really appreciate those who are commenting, liking, sharing, and supporting me on this app in whichever way they are doing it. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. So after 24 hours, look at what we have now. Look at this soap. This is really beautiful. I think this is the best I've produced so far. And I really love this soap, especially maybe because of the color. I love pink. So we've come to the end of this production process. Thank you for watching. God bless you all and have a great day. Bye.